Net will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, calling together, all amateur radio operators. This is the weekly net of the M17 Project. I'm Ed, November 2, X-Ray Delta Delta, and I will be your net control station today. This net meets weekly on Fridays at 1700 hours UTC by means of the M17 Charlie Reflector. The purpose of this net is to relay information in regards to the M17 Project. M17 is a new digital radio protocol in development as an alternative to those currently available with freedom in mind. Freedom in the code, protocol, voice codecs, and hardware. The goal is to provide a better option for digital radios in the future. We encourage all amateur radio operators to check into this net. We will take check-ins followed by an informal roundtable to discuss all things M17 related. When checking into this net, please push the talk button and wait approximately 2 seconds before speaking. This will allow all the systems on the net to catch up to one another. When checking in, please give me your name, location, and call sign using proper ITU phonetics. And let me know if you have any information for the net. Also, let me know how you're getting into our net today, whether you're using DroidStar, DudeStar, Echolink, Allstar, or any of the other modes. I will now stand by for regular net check-ins.
This is Kilo Charlie 1, Alpha Whiskey Victor, Steve in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm coming in via Echolink today. No traffic for the net today. So I'll take that back because I do have a couple of things to talk about, but we can go over that later. KC1AWV.
This is G4KLX, Golf 4 Kilo Lima X-Ray, Jonathan, located just south of London, still using DudeStar. No traffic this week.
This is Michelle Thompson from Delta Mike 12JW, W5NYV with traffic, and this week it's DudeStar for the access. Back to you.
This is Kilo 9, Foxtrot Hotel. Phil, near Chicago, coming in on DudeStar this week. Hope the one was correct. No traffic. This is Alpha Alpha 4 Hotel Sierra, mate in Alexandria, Virginia, coming in via DroidStar, and I have no traffic this week. Sierra Papa 5 Whiskey Papa, Wojciech from Warsaw, Poland, using DroidStar, and I have no traffic for today.
November 6 Bravo Golf from Chandler, Arizona, coming in on Echolink with no traffic.
Victor Echo 3, Mike India Charlie, Mike from Barrie, Ontario. No traffic, coming in via DroidStar.
This is Whiskey 2, Foxtrot Bravo India, Mike from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. No traffic, M-Voice.
This is Kilo Delta 2, Uniform Quebec Kilo. Rob from Long Island, no traffic today.
This is Delta 5 Juliet Foxtrot Kilo, Jacob from Munich, Germany. No traffic, and I'm coming in using the M-Voice client.
Okay, guys, let's hold it up there. And Net Control wishes to recognize Steve, KC1AWV. Steve, I guess you didn't get the memo, but you always have something to say for the net, whether you know it or not. Jonathan, welcome back once again this week, G4KLX. Michelle, first time check-in, W5NYV, welcome. Phil, K9FH, Maitland, AA4HS, WWD, Wojciech, thank you. Vion, N6BG, first time check-in, thank you and welcome. Mike in Canada, V3MIC. Mike up on the Cape, W2FBI. Rob, KD2UQK. And Jacob, DD5JFK. Do we have any further check-ins for this week's M17 Net? Please call Net Control.
M0MJU coming via DudeStar. Was hoping to come in on my MMDVM hotspot because I've got it working up to a point, but the other end using the mobile link TNC not working.
Okay there, Martin. Thank you very much for checking in and joining us this week. And if anybody has any solutions to Martin's problem, feel free to raise it up. Right now, we'll hold up on the check-ins, and we'll go to the first person on the list with traffic. That's Michelle, M5NYV. Michelle is the co-founder and CEO of the Open Research Institute. So, Michelle, over to you. And 2XDD Net Control.
Well, thank you, Ad. Howdy, I'm Michelle Thompson, W5NYV. CEO of Open Research Institute. We're the fiscal sponsor and a very strong supporter of the M17 project. Currently, I'm working on getting a repeater builder based node up and running here in San Diego, California, for a repeater club. And that's where I live. And we're looking at also wideband M17 modes for Phase 4 project. This is an open source amateur spacecraft at microwave frequencies. So thank you so much to the team for a great project and wonderful net activity. I'm talking to you from a Linux laptop with DudeStar. I've had quite the adventure across several operating systems getting this working, but it's been fun. And looking forward to being able to join from maybe more bespoke circuits and software in the future. Back to Net.
Okay, Michelle, thank you once again for taking the effort this morning and making sure you're able to check in with us. I know you just got back from a pretty lengthy and busy work trip, so we appreciate the effort you made this morning. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Call Net Control now, please. Do we have anybody else wishing to check in to this week's M17 Project Net? please call net control.
India Uniform 2 Kilo India November, checking in with a late check-in with no traffic. Operator Nicolò from Milan. To you, net control.
Echolink, thank you for joining us once again this week, and welcome. And those who aren't familiar, Nico is one of the team members of the OpenRTX.org project. We've been putting in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into some custom firmware and some hardware modifications for the MD380 and 390 series of radios, so they'll be able to run the M17 protocol. Anybody else wishing to check in with or without traffic, please call November 2, X-Ray Delta Delta. Okay, we're going to take it up to the top of the list. Steve was our first check-in, KC1AWV, and Steve is one of the M17 Project team members. Steve, let's see what you got for us this week. Over to you, bud.
Well, thank you, Ed. I appreciate the opportunity to have my turn to speak. I hope I will not be as long-winded as I normally am, but there are a few things that have been being worked on and made available for us here at the M17 project. So first of all, I'm working on a central app. I'm calling it M17 Central. It's going to be a web-based application for now. Eventually, I will, try and figure out how to program for Android and iOS, but it will be kind of like the central repository for everything M17. So right now we have kind of a fragmented, to put it nicely, set of information and places to go for resources regarding M17. So I plan on having a one website, one-stop shop kind of thing for M17. So it will involve reflectors, it will involve messaging, it will involve anything that we put in the wiki, links to other projects that are related. It will have basically everything that you can think of that would be involved with M17. This project is not something that's going to be done easily. There is a significant amount of work that needs to be done into it. So if anybody out there is familiar with Ruby on Rails programming, any sort of CSS knowledge, things like that, please reach out to us at contact@m17.link. That is our main contact system, and we have a few people that are keeping an eye on things coming in, and if I don't see it, somebody else will be able to at least get in touch with me to make sure that I pay attention to what's going on there. I'll break for just a second here so I don't time out and give you some more information about what's going on in Poland. Yeah, thank you, Mike, for spelling it out there in the chat. I know that I have a tendency to drop my R's, so it's contact, like the movie or that old TV show from the 80s, at m17.link. So in Poland, we are making very good headway on the repeater that is being installed in Warsaw, well, actually just outside of Warsaw. I actually was on the phone with Wojciech over there in Poland, and he was showing me all of the things that are involved with that repeater. So I got to see the chimney. I could barely make out the antenna at the top, and we saw the feeder line coming in. Got to see the duplexer, diplexer, however you want to call it. Then the repeater itself, the sound card interface that we're using, the server itself, and all the support equipment, the modems and the routers and switching equipment and how everything's set up. We have also a kind of like a dashboard that gives us all the sensor information for the environmental stuff, the doors and temperatures and relay information. It's a really clean setup. I'm very impressed with the way that things have been put together over there, and I hope to have an opportunity to do some sort of kind of like a video interview and throw it up onto our YouTube channel for people to see what kind of stuff is going on over there. It's a really awesome setup that he has going on over there. We do have a couple pieces that need to be purchased for it. Things like an uninterruptible power supply and various cables and all the other things. But for the most part, it is operational right now. It is currently operating as a weather beacon, so people in the area can grab their SDRs and listen for the signal and actually hear what's going on. One of the local hams was able to capture some of that audio, and we have it available on our Discord chat. So people that want to listen into it, I'll try and find it and repost it so that you can hear what it sounds like to listen to M17 over the air. I'll break once more just to not time out, and I'll kind of wrap up what I was talking about. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. The website is coming along, and we got a good start on that repeater. And one of the things that I did want to do this weekend is there is a new set of firmware for the Nucleo TNC and the TNC3 from MobileLink. Rob was working hard on getting some of the firmware buttoned up and working for us, so I'm going to play around with that this weekend and report back to him with my findings. So hopefully, we'll have a really solid platform to kind of plug into an existing radio and use M17 with. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it back to Net Control. Thank you very much, Ed. This is KC1AWV.
All right, Steve, can you imagine how long that would be if you had nothing to say? All right, guys, thank you very much, Steve, for all the information on M17 and what's happening with the different aspects of it. Does anybody have any questions or comments in regards to Steve's information? Please call Net Control.
IU2KAN?
Nico, over to you.
Thank you. So I have a question regarding more or less if there are already some plans regarding the future operation of the repeater in Poland. So this will hopefully be the first of many repeater which will run M17. So I was thinking if we already had some ideas about some ways to interlink all the physical M17 repeaters, for example, to have a policy to, I don't know, link one of the module between all the repeaters or some sort of something like that, or will we leave everything to the complete decentralization? Because we are looking forward with the OpenRTX team, and we are not only looking, but we are moving forward to try to have an M17 repeater also here in Milan, since we the three of us developers will be using that hopefully soon with our MT380s. So for sure we will link that with the one in Poland, but maybe you already thought about some general policy for linking to you.
So that's interesting that you ask, but from what I understand right now, there is no policy as to linking up repeaters. The idea, from what I understand, would be that M17 gateway or probably M17 gateway would be the easiest way to link the repeaters, and we would just choose a reflector to handle the linking. So we would choose a module on one of the reflectors, link the repeaters to that, and having some sort of way to control which reflector and which module that they are connected to will come into the future. But a statically linked M17 gateway to the reflector would probably be the easiest way to do that right now. But as we only have one repeater online right now, we haven't really determined what the policy would be or what the interlink would look like. So I believe that will be coming in the future once we have a few more repeaters available. Back to Net KC1AWV.
G4KLX.
Hey, Jonathan, you're recognized there. Just stand by 1 second. Nico, did Steve answer your question?
You took an here? Yes. Thank you for the answer. Thank you. Back to you, Net Control.
G4KLX, Jonathan, please pick it up.
Okay, from G4KLX. Well, if you're using my M17 gateway on the MMDVM, then it already has the concept of linking to a reflector at startup time. It also has control of which reflector you use based on your destination field in your transmission. You can do echo, you can get info, and you can unlink. It also has the idea that if there is no RF activity after a certain period of time, it will or will not, depending on what you do, revert back to the original reflector that you set in the configuration file. So you can essentially have it listening, for example, on M17C, but ultimately users could change it to something else, but it will revert to M17C in the future. There's the same sort of things that I have on other modes in the MMDVM. And sometime, maybe this weekend, I'll be adding voice prompts so that it actually says things like linked to M17C and things like that. But I'll see how much time I've got from G4KLX.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you very much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan is developing an M17 client, and more information and the code can be found on his GitHub page, which is github.com/G4KLX. And once again, this is the weekly M17 project. I'm Ed, November 2 X-ray Delta Delta. I'm your net control station. More information about the M17 project can be found at M17Project.org. If you're inside listening or you're listening to a playback of this net on our YouTube feed, please feel free to check us out at M17Project.org, where you can find information about the project, as well as links to our social media platforms, where we have a pretty strong presence on IRC with links to Discord and to Matrix. And if you have any sort of skills that you think you can lend a hand to the M17 project with, whether it be coding, RF design, KiCad, 3D modeling, PCB design, or we're looking for a Windows app developer, please feel free to reach a member of the M17 team at contact@m17.link. Do we have anybody with any questions, comments, or check-ins? Please call Net Control now. Okay, people, was it something I said? All right, anybody else with any information for the M17 project that you'd like to share this week? Please call Net Control.
Comment.
We'll take that comment, and I'm going to pass it over to you, Michelle.
Might be worth mentioning that M17 has a couple of presentations coming up in the Ham Expo in August. This will be a great chance to present the project to amateur members all over the world. So we will have some demonstrations, both projects, both Phase 4 Ground that uses the M17 protocol in the uplink and the M17 project, and some presentations coming up in Ham Expo in August. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. And M17 does have a couple of projects going on. A couple of presentations at the QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo. And more information for that can be found at qsotodayhamexpo.com, all one very long word. And the expo takes place the weekend of August 14th and 15th virtually. So please, if you get a chance, check that out. And I believe we're going to try and edit our notes on the YouTube page, and we'll throw in some of the links that we dropped today. So Steve and I will work on that sometime later on. Anybody else with any questions or comments? Call Net Control now, please. Okay, guys, I guess we'll drop it for one more round, see if anybody else wants to check in, or if anybody else has any questions or comments. And then, if not, we'll start wrapping this up. This is November 2, X-Ray Delta Delta, Net Control Station for this week's M17 Project Net. Do we have anybody else with any questions, comments, or late check-ins?
You too, KIN. Again, I realized I have some traffic. I'm doing, the usual voice check scene here to unit control.
That's exactly who I was going to compare you to, Nico. Go ahead, over to you for your traffic.
Okay, thank you. So, again, you already presented me, but to summarize, with OpenRTX, which is an open source, free and open source firmware for digital radios, we are trying to bring the M17 protocol in the form of a handy-talkie of a portable radio, and we are trying to do that on two of our target radios, which are the MD380 and MD-UV380, together with all of the clones, so the Retevis RT3 and RT3S. These four radios can support M17, will be able to support M17. They need a minor hardware modification. which consists in desoldering some components and pulling one or two wires according to the radio. And you can find the details on our website, which is openrtx.org. And if you don't feel like doing the modification yourself, you can ask a friend. So again, after this introduction, I wanted to give a report on the status of the M17 implementation. We really pushed forward the status this week. We are working very closely, me, Silvano, IU2 Kilo Whiskey Oscar, and Wojciech itself, SP5WWP. So basically, we are working on the transmission part of the M17 protocol, and in particular, right now, the modulation part kind of works. The software, when the firmware, sorry, when executed on Linux, it works without problem. So if we feed an audio file, it outputs an audio file which is identical to our reference implementation, which is M17 CXX mod by Mobilinked. So more or less the large part of the code actually works. On one side, we are hammering down a small bug which alters probably the distribution of the symbols, so we end up with a non-even distribution. And on another side, we are trying to make codec 2 fit on the radio. So codec 2 is the vocoder used by M17, but it's non-trivial to port on the radio because as it comes from GitHub, it runs on more than 16 kilobytes of RAM. Of stack, so we need really to try to enable all the different optimization that David Rowe, the creator of Codec 2, meant for running on STM32. So we expect to have the transmission working at the top of next week, more or less. After that, we will start working on the reception, and that will take also a bit of time. Sorry for the long update, and I'll give the mic back to you, Net Control.
Hey guys, it was Nico, IU2 KIN, over in Italy, and he's one of the members of the OpenRTX.org project. Check him out. Seems like they're very close to getting this leg of their project done for M17 implementation. So feel free to check him out. Does anybody have any questions for Nico at this time? Okay, how many late check-ins? Anybody wishing to check in? Please call now. Okay, guys, looks like we're going to wrap this one up. Including myself, there were 14 check-ins today. Not bad at all. I want to thank all the stations that checked in today for participating and supporting the net. Your help in maintaining this net is appreciated by one and all. This is Ed, November 2 X-Ray Delta Delta. The net is now secure at 1734 hours UTC. 7-3.